Getting our friends together isn't as easy as it used to be. We get it. Life comes at you fast. But trust us, your pals are desperate for a good hang. And when they hear you stock the party with drinks from Drizzly, they'll be banging down your door. Let Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery, take care of the supplies. All you need is an excuse. It doesn't even have to be a good one. It's your dog's birthday. The loquats are finally ripe. Whatever. With Drizzly, you can compare prices on a massive selection of beer, wine, and spirits and get them delivered straight to your door, which means you can entice the crew to leave their houses without ever leaving yours. Whatever the occasion, download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Today. Must be 21 plus. Not available in all locations. Man, I wish they had Drizzly when I used to play D&D and Riffs. Maybe it's time for me to start again. Thanks, Drizzly.
The podcast playground.
Hooray! Hey, it's my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Howdy, my friends. It is I, Jesse Blaze Snyder, the coolest geek alive. How are you doing out there, my coolest geeks? I hope you had a great Christmas and a great New Year. I hope you utilized some of my lists. I went whole hog this Christmas, and I made a bunch of great Christmas lists for you to know about next year. Those episodes will still be there, so cool. And we got like our first, my first requests for sponsorships that'll be playing on the channel pretty soon. And if you want to do me a favor and acknowledge those sponsorships, it'll probably be really good for the channel. So thank you for giving me this channel and this platform. I'm working on a plan to have like a mailing list that everybody can sign up for if you want to, so that I don't have to promote myself as much. And forgive me for self-promotion or whatever. I freaking hate it. I really do. It's just people, every bit of work that you've ever found, comics or music or whatever, it's been promoted to you somehow, some way. A long time ago, it's been promoted to your father. It's been promoted to your parents. It's been promoted. Lady Gaga is Lady Gaga. Everybody can say whatever they want to say about her. She's the greatest, whatever. She was promoted, majorly promoted. Nirvana was majorly promoted. The big bands, the Foo Fighters, were majorly promoted, are still majorly promoted. Money is put behind promoting them. And that's why you see everybody coming out these days, and it's the rise of people with channels, and they've got a comic book or they've got a thing that they're promoting. And it kind of just is what it is right now. But I don't love it. It's not my favorite thing. I'm on, I got my music show, All Your Favorite Bands Suck. And it's basically my favorite bands that I think don't get enough respect in the punk genre, comedy genre, rap genre. There's a lot of acts that just don't get enough respect as far as I'm concerned, and I'm just laying them out as the greatest bands of all time. But I've been closing all my shows instead of I play the theme song, and then I play outro music, which is also the theme song again. On All Your Favorite Bands Suck, I've been playing one of my songs that I've written that is inspired by the artist that I'm talking about. And I am very uncomfortable about it because I feel like it's a shameless self-promotion, whatever, really drives me crazy. But my intuition is it is what it is, and I need to be able to get my music out there, and that's more important. And I need to be able to get my comics out there. I was listening to another comic book YouTuber talking about are you a comic book publisher or are you a YouTuber? And the question is, am I a podcaster or am I a publisher and music person? And the reality is I've always kind of made my money from other places, and now podcasting is becoming my career right now. But that doesn't change anything for me. I'm a comic book publisher and a music maker and media maker, and my company Blacklight District Studios, we make tons of stuff, and that's my focus. That's what I love to do. That's what I'm good at. That's what I've studied my whole life to be good at. And I really believe the only reason why, well, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why you're listening to this show is because I know things, because I study. I'm a very, very not to say I'm a quick study, but I am a continual studier, and I'm just always absorbing information and taking in new ideas and new ways of looking at things, studying new things and understanding things better. And I'm in the business, and I love the business, and I'm a fan. I really am. I'm a purchaser of all of these things. I'm the guy who had all the DVD box sets and the statues and the action figures, and I go deep. So I know this stuff really well, and it's because I love it. And at the end of the day, I'm not a podcaster. I'm somebody who makes things. I make art, and I love doing that, and I make great shit. And if you haven't ever checked out my stuff, you really should. Do yourself a favor, go to www.blacklightdistrict.co. It's free, and that's the first thing that my company put together, which was Blacklight District Studios is named after that. It's a music comic book project. There's music and comics done by some of my favorite professional comic book artists. It's amazing, and co-written and produced by my buddy Will Knox, who's just an amazing talent in and of his own right. And it's free right there, and you can check it out. But it's beautiful, and it's perfect. I really, one of the few things I've ever made that I would say is perfect, but it is perfect. It's beautiful, and you can check it out at any time. You can check it out on our YouTube channel as well, Blacklight District Studios. We've got a playlist of the 6 animated versions of Blacklight District, which is the comics and the music combined together in these slight animated music videos. But the stuff's really cool. I mean, this is what I have dedicated my life to, making cool things. I'm the coolest geek alive because I know what fucking cool things are. I know what they look like. I can direct you to cool things. I can recommend cool things because that's what I love, and that's what I look for, things that are outside the box and interesting and will add something to your life. That is what I like to make, and that is what I know about and what I love and what I like to talk about. And what I'm here to talk about today. But yeah, so I just want to say, for the past year, I'm sorry for all the self-promotion, and I'm sorry for in the future, because there's a part of me that really hates it and doesn't agree with it, but it's like a necessity to some degree to be able to just say, and by the way, this is what I really do, and please check out that stuff. If you appreciate what I have to say, check out the stuff that I do, because I love that stuff. I mean, I love this. I love being able to talk about this stuff with people, and especially when I get your feedback. Please always write to me at jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com if you have something to say, a burning question, anything. I always get back to people, and it's wonderful. I've been hearing from more and more people, and we've had more and more really nice comments on our iTunes page, and ratings and all that stuff. The show's a hit as far as many things are concerned, many metrics are concerned, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. This is my new year. I'm just dedicated to my podcasting and getting out these comics, and I feel so blessed and so excited that that I'm writing my own ticket, and I'm just living my life the way I like to, immersed in all the stuff that I love, and immersed in information, and I have all of this knowledge, which seemed like really kind of useless knowledge, especially when I had just kind of had my divorce and was going through a really bad depression and dealing with a couple different things, but it seemed like, well, what the fuck am I doing with all this fucking knowledge that I have about freaking Marvel comics and DC comics and comics history and freaking film history and comedy history and all this shit that I freaking know, useless information that I've picked up. But now I have purpose. You've given me purpose. This show and my audience has given me purpose. So thank you for giving giving all this useless shit in my mind purpose, and I don't think that you have none if you just have all of this knowledge and are able to appreciate what I have to say, because we need that. I need as many people who can appreciate what I have to say as deeply as possible. So when people go, I don't understand what Jesse's saying, this is all a bunch of bullshit, you can go, no. Jesse is speaking facts. Jesse knows and loves this stuff the same way I do. I love this stuff the same way you guys do. So what am I here to talk about today? I'm here to talk about the Marvels versus Aquaman 2. And I just haven't heard anybody talking about this part of it, because it's really funny. When Aquaman 2 first came out, its first weekend was even less good than the Marvels. But there's a lot of things that went into that. And this second weekend of Aquaman 2 has already tied the Marvels domestically and fucking destroyed the Marvels internationally. And this is like, it's such a problem, because there's a big difference between Aquaman 2 and the Marvels. And that is, Aquaman 2 is the end of a failed attempt at a DC cinematic universe that was already admitted to and acknowledged as a failure. The Marvels is a sign of awful things to come. DC was smart enough to go, this is not going the way that we would like it to go, a couple years ago now, I guess. Or I mean, how long has it been since James Gunn was announced? I guess at least a year. So, I mean, and say what you will about that, I don't know. I don't really know what they were thinking, DC was thinking with this freaking rollout of like, yeah, we got a whole new DC cinematic universe and 3 or 4 movies left to release. What did they release? Blue Beetle, Shazam 2, and Aquaman 2. I feel like there was another one in there. Flash. Blue Beetle, Flash, Shazam 2, and Aquaman all got like tanked by the fact that they were making this huge change. I mean, it's really like, okay, well, there's rumblings at the, well, not at the, there's rumblings in the entertainment world that basically Warner Brothers is in like a really bad place. And, you know, they cut Batgirl completely. You know, it's deleted. You're never going to see it. They cut the Wile E. Coyote movie that they had made. There's a few other ones that have just been zoop, as like tax write-offs for them. And that's definitely some crazy behavior, you know, has seemed like crazy behavior. And even this decision, was it a necessity? Did they have to get some sort of good, like there's been talk that perhaps Zaslav over at Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's funny because I've been like affected by this merger myself, because I am I do a lot of voiceovers. You've heard my voice a million times before. For years, I was the voice of Pizza Hut. Want more taste? Get America's favorite pizza. Pizza Hut, now online. I was the original voice for GameStop. Pre-order Madden, get good sooner. GameStop, power to the players. Or for many years, I was the voice of Kia Motors. Buying a Kia is one smart move. So I also do narration. I used to narrate for Smithsonian Channel, and I'm a narrator for a long-running show. We've done like 201 episodes. Shout out to my buddies at O'Malley Production. Holla! Love those guys. We are like a long-running show. There was some seasons of the show before us, but we kind of revamped the show and made it even better. Our show, like, for what it is, like, because I don't want to, like, like, that's a big deal, but like, for what it really is kind of a big deal. It's not a hosted show; it's a narrated show, and it's a food show where we bring you to all these great spots on Food Paradise. If you watch Discovery Channel, you see it a lot. They re-air it like crazy because it's a cheaply made show. Like, I would be sitting pretty if I was getting like residuals and stuff for this. I get paid well when the show is being made, but really the budget for the show is relatively small, and they get great ratings on it. They re-air it like crazy, and they haven't talked to us about anything because everything at Discovery and HBO has been insane. Granted, they've got 201 episodes of our show to re-air or whatever, so it's not like an emergency to get more, but it's a show that eventually I know will continue because economically and all these other things, it just makes sense to keep it going. It's a good show for them, but it doesn't matter. They don't have time to like look at everything at once. The higher up eyes have been on various things, and that whole network has been in a little bit of a holding pattern in a lot of ways for a while. And so maybe they're panicking. Maybe things are crazy and nutty, and and whatever else. But I mean, the Flash, which got taken out of the cinemas early, that did better than the Marvels. Aquaman, as you know, I had said this. I don't know if you remember. I was like, I make predictions all the time, and and I was actually ready to come back on the show and be like, oh, well, I guess I'm an idiot, and Aquaman is going to tank as much as the Marvels. Aquaman had a bad first weekend, and there's a couple factors that went into why it did. But it is already, after 12 days in release, it is at $81 million domestically. The Marvels, at 54 days in release, is at $84 million domestically. So Aquaman will easily surpass that this week and be on to make significantly more money and easily cross $100 million and make a chunk of change. The reason why I said that it was going to make money in the first place is just because it's a movie that you can take your kids to. And, that Avatar 2, a lot of the butts and seats, it's just, hey, everybody, the whole family can go see that movie. Generally, general audiences will be happy. I saw Aquaman 2 this past weekend or whatever with my kids, maybe on New Year's Eve. And it was largely very forgettable. I watched the whole movie as a fan of the comics going, that's Jason Momoa. That's not Aquaman. Aquaman in the comics, if you've never read them, is definitely more of a T'Challa kind of character. Black Panther and Aquaman have a lot of similarities with one another. He's a kind of man of action, a quiet guy who's constantly being put in this rock and this hard place, trying to keep sort of like the underwater world from revolting against the revolting humans on the surface, and keeping the peace and being stirred up in one way or another. That generally, it's like, I didn't start this shit, but I'll finish it. The best Aquaman comic books put both of these films to shame. The first movie I liked okay. It's funny because Mera was one of my favorite parts of that movie, played by what's-her-face, Amber Heard. But she embodied Mera. And if you're a fan of the comics, like, seeing her on screen, seeing her in that costume, it was like, wow, it's Mera. And like, she legitimized Aquaman visually more than Aquaman, because it was like, who the fuck is this guy? I got a good friend of mine, Tori Mel. Shout out to Tori Mel. He and I did a little show for a second called Coolest Alive, which is like a precursor to this show. And Tori's like one of the funniest dudes on the planet. And Tori is a huge Aquaman fan. He's got a big Aquaman tattoo on his back. And, he just wanted to like the stuff. So he was really trying to like put it out of his mind. But, immediately he just went, the blonde hair, like that, like there's part of Aquaman's origin in how he looks, his blonde hair. That's part of the character. There's a lot of different things that are elements that are in Aquaman that fans of Aquaman really love and appreciate. Just cool bits with Atlantis and whatnot, and the Arthur name. I've read a number of Aquaman arcs that I have adored. Jeff Johns' run on the title that was more recent was great. I think that was like the only thing from the New 52 that I liked. I think it was New 52. But Jeff Johns did a great job with the character and really was super cool. There was a lot of creators who I read along the way who sort of provided elements. Eric Larson had a cool run on Aquaman where he introduced a lot of characters that have been utilized and brought up from there, and did a couple things that did last, even though maybe it did make me fall in love with the character. There's a writer named Will Pfeiffer who did an arc called Sub Diego. It was only like 2 arcs. I think it was like a 1 6-issue arc and like 2 more issues, but it was fucking phenomenal. I was so upset, and DC was like, nah, because it was great, and they should have supported it and stuck with him. It was awesome stuff. Anyway, suffice to say, I've read some awesome Aquaman, and all of the great Aquaman comics put this shit to shame, and that just shouldn't be. It should not be at all. Like this material should be so much better than it is. My kids were like, I saw it with my 2 youngest ones, my 7-year-old and my 9-year-old. And they both were like, meh, it was okay. Mera, cut out of the movie. I mean, she's a little bit in the movie, and actually, she has like a joke where she's like using telekinesis to squirt pee in Aquaman's mouth, and using her like water kinesis powers, and you just can't help but think of like, yeah, she would do something like that. Shit in the bed, squirting pee in the husband's mouth, and there was actually like just like a couple moments where like, because she's there as like a love interest to Aquaman, and whenever you see her, you can't help but go, don't get too comfortable with her, Aquaman. She's no good. Definitely the real world and who she is seeping into the experience you're having there, which sucks. I mean, that's the reason why I chose comics as like my chosen medium, because when you're reading a comic book, it's a person drawn, so it's viewed as a representation of a person that you accept what you're told about. When actors are added into the equation, and this is why movie stars are a big deal, because some actors audiences don't connect with for some reason, because we look at them and we don't quite like them. And the amount of people that we look at and we decide that we like and we decide that we want to spend a lot of time with, the Ryan Reynolds of the worlds and the Robert Downey Jr.'s and the Val Kilmers and the Mel Gibsons and the Hugh Jackmans, and and I mean, Hugh Jackman had a big help by a part that really rocketed him to stardom, but clearly he's a very talented man. But I mean, like, there are plenty of people who are very forgettable and are not leading men, and we wouldn't necessarily follow them anywhere. And it goes for leading women as well. Your Emily Blunts and your Sigourney Weavers. The lists go on. Don't make me sit here under pressure. My brain starts to like short out. I hate it actually when I listen to the show and I hear myself basically like right now I was thinking like, oh no, you have to name just as many female, fuck you guys. fuck anybody out there in the audience. It's like thinking that to exhaust me enough that like I did, because I just made like a list of like some of my favorite my favorite actors. and I'm a boy, so I got a whole bunch of favorite actors. It's a little easier for me to pull forth, but I'm like, oh God, I could name just as many actresses, but I don't even fucking feel like it. Now I want to like prove it. And I'm like, I'm gonna prove this shit that I know just as many great fucking actresses. But no, I'm not going to, because already the pressure on my brain is making me go, no, I'm going to start blanking out and getting people's names wrong. Anyway, fuck you guys for stressing me out about something so stupid. I feel it in my neck. The stress of people going, it must all be even and equal at all times. Oh God, I can't keep up. I try. You calm down. So anyway, where are we here? So dude, this is an embarrassment for Marvel. This is really fucked up. And there was all these like articles and stuff last week that maybe you might have read or saw the headlines for, where they were apologizing for the Marvels and saying, oh look, the Marvels wasn't that bad. Dude, the Marvels is that bad. 12 days into Aquaman, it's almost beaten the domestic total, which the Marvels is still technically in some theaters. It's 54 days, 7 weeks. Shit, guys. And you know what's I found pretty interesting as well is it was in like 300 less theaters. Let me see. There's 887, 987, like 250 less theaters it's been playing in, and making more money, more butts in the seats to see Aquaman than to see the Marvels. And this is bad because Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has been definitely tanked, at least partially. I mean, there's a lot of factors here. We got the Amber Heard factor, which I guess is, sometimes I can be too optimistic. So, I was ready to be like, all right, I guess I was wrong with Aquaman. I just didn't think that these factors would be enough to take away from the fact that it was just kind of a thing to do during the holiday and something you get to do with the family. And, and I, as a family, I've got 4 kids, so I know just that of like, why don't we go see Aquaman? My oldest daughter and her friend went to go see Wonka, and they seemed much more satisfied with that choice. And I've heard some pretty good things about Wonka, so I'm interested in seeing that myself. I really wished to have been seeing the wrestling movie, but I was seeing it with my little daughter and my son, even though I think they might have been into it. They might have liked it. And, they like going to a movie with me and whatnot, that eating popcorn and doing the whole thing. So I should have maybe given it a try, but I didn't check to see if it was rated R or not. Iron Claw, I want to see that really bad. I love Zac Efron, and I love that dude from Shameless. So I'm really excited to see that movie. So maybe you guys will see it and let me know how it is at jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com. And also let me know if anybody writes me if do I get a rattle in my microphone? I don't hear it too much when I do the show. Occasionally I will hear something, but let me know if you hear one, because I hold the microphone in my hand now and I lean back so I can just kind of relax and be more myself, as opposed to having to be like perched at the desk like a falcon. But anyway, this shit is crazy. DC has already admitted defeat. These are the last cries of its defeat. It's losing money on these movies, remade and reshot and recut and all this shit that had to be done because of Amber Heard and whatever other things, changes made to the universe, and now the new James Gunn universe. And we've got this Superman coming, and there's going to be these other heroes in the movie. So it doesn't seem like they're going to be establishing the DC universe from the comics that we'd like to see, that was established with the DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths. It seems like they're still going to be doing kind of what they want to do based on all the things that James Gunn has announced so far, from Green Lantern series and Booster Gold series and Amazon Warriors series, and what else we got? Swamp Thing was the only thing that I was fucking excited about. Creature Commandos animated, and the Supergirl. It looks like a punk rock Supergirl. And I don't know, a Waller series and some more Peacemaker and whatever. Like, this isn't anything that fans of DC comic books, DC comic book readers, this isn't anything that we've been clamoring for. They're skipping ahead to the Brave and the Bold Batman, and they're calling it Brave and the Bold. And they're continuing with Batman year one, the Batman. They're going to do a sequel to that, and I guess more of a Penguin series. Fucking DC has gotten very confused, and my prediction is that, barring exceptions, because if things happen to get made well, and I mean DC has a tendency to like fucking recut shit and all this stuff. I mean, maybe Dave Zaslav isn't going to do this. I don't know what's happening here, honestly. It's like my CEO hat. I'm just fucking confused about all of this that they're doing at DC, and I'm not optimistic for what they're doing. But I think I'm more optimistic for all of the classic intellectual property that DC has, because even after it announced defeat and is releasing the 4th film in a series of fucking flops, just to get them out to move into a new cycle, you've got the Marvels doing better than the fucking Marvels, and the Marvels was just the bottom of the barrel embarrassment for Marvel. It's been out 54 days. It's made $84. Yeah, $84. It's made $84 million domestically and $205 million worldwide. This movie has like a $200 million budget that they have admitted to. I think it's at least got a $300 million budget. And that's like, they don't get all the money from the theaters. Like when you hear these numbers, you don't just think, oh, well, they made 84. They didn't make $84 million. And they don't make 50-50. And it's 50-50 if it isn't always the case here in America as well. But they certainly don't make 50-50 internationally. When they go over to China, I think they're making like fucking 25% or 20% or something like that, depending on deals that they've made. And they try to make deals that become more incestuous with China and make our material that they're giving us more like communist China would like to see, so that they can get bigger percentages. Because this is the stupid world that we're living in now. When we've got a company like Disney wanting to play culture war in America, and meanwhile, as a business, they're acting unscrupulously all over the world. It's like, just don't fucking tell people what to do if you're a corporation when it comes to morals, because like these companies are going to be shown to be unscrupulous every fucking time. What up, guys? Jesse Blaze Snyder here. And whether your resolution is to save money, eat better, or stress less, HelloFresh is here to help you do all three. Say hello to your most delicious year yet, with fresh ingredients and chef-crafted recipes at a price point you'll like, delivered right to your door. So you've resolved to actually sit down and eat dinner around the table like me. But what do you do about those nights when your schedule's packed, like mine always is? Turn to HelloFresh's lineup of quick and easy meals, including their 15-minute recipes designed to help minimize mealtime stress. It's really awesome, actually. My brother, Shane, he was doing Twitch, and he had a sponsorship from HelloFresh. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we got a bunch of HelloFresh meals, and we ended up doing it for a few months because it was just awesome. It was super convenient. The biggest thing about it that I liked was that I didn't feel like I was wasting food all the time, because everything was cut into portions exactly what you needed for the meals. And the meals were delicious. You know, my girl was making them mostly, and I mean, they were really great and usually pretty easy to get done, like fast and stuff. I really highly recommend HelloFresh. It's quite a cool experience to just have that food show up to your door. Here's the directions, here's everything pre-cut, and you're just cleaning up the dishes to get it done. So go to HelloFresh.com/CoolGeekFree and use code CoolGeekFree for free breakfast for life. I'm so excited to offer that to you. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/CoolGeekFree with code CoolGeekFree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Just what an embarrassment this is. I mean, also, Marvel's is an hour and 45 minutes versus Aquaman's 2 hours and 4 minutes, which that about 20-minute difference probably leads to at least a additional showing of the Marvels in those theaters that it was in. They had a $46 million opening and Aquaman had a $27 million opening. But here we are 54 days later and they've reached $84 million. 121 million international, and Aquaman has done 173 million international and 81 million domestic in just 12 days. So again, that's going to be over. So we talked about what DC's doing. What's Marvel doing? Well, there's a lot of leaker channels and whatnot on YouTube. There's one that I follow called The Cosmic Wonder. He seems like a sweet guy. I don't generally actually listen to very much of his channel because in general, the leaks are always better than the actual films. It's really true. Leaks that you will hear about what's possible are better than what they actually make. And I've actually become convinced that Kevin Feige thinks he's doing something clever and he's making these obvious leaks to the trades of what they should be doing and what they could be doing and what people would be happy to hear, because he thinks that surprise, the element of surprise is important, and that he can't have everything end the way it ends in the comics because then everybody knows how it ends. Nobody knows how it fucking ends. Nobody knew how freaking Lord of the Rings ended until the Lord of the Rings ended. And nobody knows how your Captain America story is going to end until it fucking ends because they didn't read the damn comics. All right? Like, seriously, I really do believe that that's a factor in what's going on with Kevin. I think he's leaking the obvious stuff, and he doesn't want any obvious answers. He wants to surprise everybody. He's one of those stupid fucking producers who thinks that surprise is so important that they'll make things that don't make any sense, like Lost or whatever. Oh, God. Like, seriously. J.J. Abrams, oof. Don't get me started. Like, there's certain things that I really appreciate about him and that I think he's very good at, like casting. I think he's an unbelievable caster. I think he's got a great eye for talent and personality. And those first 3 Star Trek movies they made in the Abrams verse, they were great. And I mean, really like awesome. In terms of casting, the movies, in terms of Star Trek movies, they're not so great. In terms of the casting, though, they were awesome. Magic. And, the casting of Lost, amazing. But then, you get into the 4th season and you're well past knowing that they are not going to bother to satisfactorily explain any fucking thing that has been introduced into this stupid episode or any of the episodes before it. And now we're having a season where we're simultaneously leaving the island as well as trying to come back from the island, go back to the island at the same time. We're in the past, leaving the island, and we're in the now, going back to the island. Like, fuck you, show. Just fucking, it doesn't have to always surprise me. Some amount of the audience can predict the ending. It's okay, as long as the ending is satisfying. Don't change a good ending because some people figured it out. All right? Sour grapes, assholes. Just we figured you out, okay? If it's good, just pat yourself on the head and move on with your life. You did a good job. There you go. Look, it's very satisfying. What a satisfying ending. It was so satisfying that we saw it from a mile away. So, that's a good thing. But there's a lot of changes going on in the Marvel Universe now. I don't know if any of these are good. I'm going to sort of read and share these rumors with you unscrupulously. These are lots of different leakers that the Cosmic Wonder was putting out, but I'd watched this the other day. I've seen a lot of these in other different places, so this was just sort of a collection of all of them together. So shout out to Cosmic Wonder for kind of putting them all in one place for me, because this is basically all the rumors, and if there's anything else that I think of while I'm talking about this shit, I'll add them to the conversation. First of all, Majors is going to be not a factor. Apparently, maybe he will still be some. They may bring him in for something, but his part in the Avengers films moving forward is going to be greatly reduced. I had heard things about Doctor Doom being moved into that role. They talked about the Beyonder Kang variant, which seems odd to make it a Beyonder Kang variant when I'm pretty sure they've done Beyonder Doom in the comics even though I don't think I've read those ones. But maybe that's a red herring for them doing Beyond or Doom. They're going to be rushing the X-Men into the universe. I guess some characters that we haven't seen before, but they're going to be focusing on the OG characters from Fox. So your I guess Frank Jensen, Jean Grey, and Marsden, Scott Summers, and Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry. I hope that we get to see what's his face, Kurt Wagner from the Munich Circus, the incredible Nightcrawler. What's that guy's name? Alan Cummings. Oh yeah, I love Alan Cummings. He's great. That would be great to get him back, and perhaps that Colossus from the Deadpool movies mixed in with some of these guys. I think Channing Tatum is supposed to be making an appearance as Gambit. I like Channing. I've come to appreciate him as a human. He seems to have a sense of humor about himself and be self-aware and cool. Based on things that he has said, it sounds like he really likes the character of Gambit, and he feels like he could do something credible and cool. So I'm hopeful, because I love Charlie Hunnam, but I could not stand his stupid accent in Rebel Moon, which I thought was, I don't know, all right. For me, as a person who has absorbed a lot of great science fiction, like that to me was just like a science fiction grab bag. Didn't necessarily feel like it was its own thing. I didn't know how to feel about it. And Charlie Hunnam's accent, oh my God. I love Charlie Hunnam. I'm a big fucking Sons of Anarchy fan. But, God. Ugh. I hate that accent. I still love you, Charlie. Hate that accent. Ugh. Anyway, no young X-Men are supposed to be in the in the proceedings, but we're going to get a Fantastic Four team that will possibly end up in the end of this thing. I guess I'll save for a second where it all goes, but the Fantastic Four, apparently Pedro Pascal has been cast as Mr. Fantastic, which I find patronizing and assaulting, and I'll tell you guys why in a second. And an actress named Vanessa Kirby, who I know who she is. I just haven't been able to... I picture her in my mind, but I couldn't remember what movies I've seen her in. But maybe you know who Vanessa Kirby is. She's like pretty blonde lady. Seems like she could be a decent Invisible Woman, maybe. But Pedro Pascal really pisses me off because it's just this annoying thing. And I mean, and like, I don't... I care about this not as a white man. I don't care about this as a white person. And I don't think of myself as a white person. I don't think of myself as a person. I really don't. I think of myself as a consciousness. And my consciousness does not care about the aspect of this that is reflective in my direction as somebody who is in a white body. But as a person who cares about the tokenization of everybody, I care about this. And it's just like all races, all sexualities, all women, everybody's been tokenized. And white men have been tokenized, and it's all like this nonsense. And they have literal boards up. You know, while they should be having boards up about the stories and the storylines, and I'm sure they do. But they've got boards up with different ethnicities from around the world that they want represented in their films. And interchangeable from white male is Hispanic male. And Pedro Pascal has been selected as a substitute for a white male. Instead, we'll have Pedro Pascal, close enough, I guess, says this board. It's just so funny to me because we talk about culture, but we forget about the many different types of what you would call white culture. There are so many unique people represented under the white flag. white people as a whole have generally subscribed to a melting pot sort of feature where everything has been shared within the culture, and so many of our cultures have dissolved into each other in various ways. And I believe that's happened very much too with black culture as well, and Hispanic culture and everything else. But now there's a lot of people, within those cultures are claiming to be representing those cultures, and I don't really think they are. There's some great videos that you can find online of people going out into the world and dressing offensively in like some community, and then asking all the people if they were offended, and nobody is. It's like this illusory idea, this idea of cultural appropriation. I really hate the idea of cultural appropriation. I think it's really poisonous. There are terrible ways to to mock anyone or be disrespectful to anyone is disrespectful and lame. But to admire a thing or a person or whatever it is, such as to take it on yourself and embody it and carry it forward, is a great honor. When you're a musician, you hope that somebody's going to take home your poster or take home your CD or take your sticker and put it on their wall proudly, or be driving their car singing your song. And why should culture be any different? Any culture that I create or any culture that I have that is appreciated. My family has a song that we sing called Happy Birthday, that people love. And I hope some people have appropriated it. I hope they have. I'd like to see it continue on. For those of you who want to know, the song goes, happy birthday, there is sorrow in the air, people dying everywhere, but happy birthday, And we all sing that. It was invented by like my great aunt ages ago. And this is like what we sing after Happy Birthday. And people are always like, what the fuck? What was that song? That was great. That's a little of our culture. You can take it. You can have it. It's a great icebreaker. It's a funny song. It's a silly song. It's been really funny and inappropriate during COVID. It took on a whole new meaning. I'm sorry for the dark humor. We have to laugh about the dark things in life, everyone. We do. We have to laugh. But what was I talking about that? I was talking about family and, talking about fucking Pedro Pascal replacing the white man. Yeah. And so, I don't know, guys. Look, I'm as liberal as they get. I really am. I've been realizing that I'm going to have, right now I'm basically on the side of the conservatives, a lot of the conservatives, because I think people have gotten out of hand and people are being too fucking pushy. And the idea of you being given this freedom to express yourself completely in any way you want to is an idea that everybody should be allowed to freely express themselves in whatever way they want to. So the moment you turn around and you start oppressing backwards, I have a problem. I have a problem with any oppression of any kind. So you left crazies, stop oppressing the people on the right. And, the people in the middle, we detest this. And there's more of us than there are you. I really the people in the middle, we got to realize there's more of us ants than there are them fucking big, loud grasshoppers on either side of us. But I'm going to have to fight these crazy religious people on the right in the future when the things flat back the other way. All of a sudden, it's going to be empowered, and all the fucking really crazy Jesus freaks who think there's only one way and you must get it through Christ. And I also believe in Christ, and I also think that Christ is a good thing and a worthwhile thing. For my approach with Christ isn't you must Christ. I think Christ is worth looking into. Christ is a really cool dude. There's some wonderful things that man has said. And if you progress your consciousness forward, you'll probably get yourself to a point where you really feel like you need to sort of humble yourself to everything, to everyone, to humble yourself to the earth, to the sun, to the moon, to all the things that keep you alive, to all of the things that give you purpose, to all of the people around you. And at that point you go, well, of course I humble myself to Christ. And of course I humble myself to the Buddha. I humble myself to everything. So, why wouldn't I humble myself here to this thing that other people are honoring and this thing, and that's that place that we want to get to. We want to get to this place of honoring all the things and not bullying each other and pushing each other around and all this shit. So this weird notion of Pedro Pascal has to be the Fantastic Four. No, he can be the fucking Mr. Fantastic in Mexico. the Mr. Fantastic of Mexico, or some new character who's super smart. Or maybe, maybe it makes sense to make Pedro Pascal Dr. Doom, which I think he would do a great job playing Dr. Doom, actually. And Dr. Doom's Latvian background is like a little Hispanic. That could make sense and be kind of cool to me. Like, I think that could be cool. There are ways to do these things that are appropriate and cool. This thing of like a white guy is interchangeable. Like, everybody needs to be represented except the white guy. White guys no longer have to be represented because we could sub them out for a Hispanic guy. I just think that shit's hysterical. So whatever. I mean, granted, Johnny, like, it's not about the fucking white guy quota or any of this shit. It's just about who I've grown up seeing these characters as, what they look like to me, and the thing that's going to be most resonant with my soul in terms of feeling like, oh, that's the thing. And I know so many people who are of the color or gender or whatever it is, that when they do these swaps, they too feel the same way that I feel. Because they're like, oh, it's just not the thing that I love. And I would have liked to see that. Like, if you read the Fantastic Four, it's because you love those characters. You love Johnny Storm, and you love The Thing, and you love Reed Richards, and you love The Invisible Woman. Is anybody asking us to change them from how they really? Just really. Is anybody who loves the Fantastic Four, who grew up reading the Fantastic Four, saying, oh, hey, could you arbitrarily change these characters' races or genders or whatever it might be? Nobody is. I'm all about diversity. Introduce new characters. It's great. Have people clamoring in the comic books for them to be introduced into the comic books because they're so great, the character that you introduced in the films. There are ways to do this. Like, do it the right way. Earn this shit. Okay. So they're going to be pushing the X-Men pretty fast and hard, and it'll be, like the returning OG people, and I guess hopefully some new characters as well along for the ride. We've got the Fantastic Four. I think the 2 Avengers movies that they were talking about are now going to be 3 Avengers movies, and they're all going to be led by Tom Holland, Spider-Man, which I can't say that this is a mistake, even though I can say that this is just going to continue to lead us kind of further away from adaptations of things in any way, shape, or form that fans of the Avengers, fans of the comics, fans of this source material might be interested in. Just further and further away from it. Oh, God bless me. Sorry about that. Because Spider-Man is not a traditional member of the Avengers. For those of you who don't know that, Spider-Man for years and years and years always said, I'm not a team guy. Marvel had sort of like an edict to keep him out of the Avengers books, which I think was probably a good idea for a minute and for reasons or whatever. But eventually he did join the Avengers and has been sort of like a staple of the Avengers ever since. And there are great stories that can be adapted from recent memory that are cool, but they don't have all of the pieces on the board to adapt these stories. I currently don't see how anything that they adapt right now is going to be reflective enough of anything that any comic book readers have come across for them to be interested in any of the stuff that's being made on nostalgia. So, like, we're not going to be like, oh, man, they're finally making this thing I like, because nothing that they're going to make is going to be that. And I'll talk about some of these other things in a second. I mean, let's hope for the Fantastic Four. Let's hope that they nail it. Let's hope they nail some of these X-Men things. I'm very nervous about the X-Men. I'm very nervous about Fantastic Four. In my mind, I see a pattern with human beings in general across the board. The moment we know something's important, the moment we know something can't be, fucked up, it does. It blows up in our fucking faces. It just gets that much more volatile and dangerous, and I'm so nervous. Like, I just hate seeing all this shit done poorly. I'd love to see this stuff done well. There's things to be excited about in here. I haven't gotten all the way through. There's a lot here. But Tom Holland Spider-Man is going to lead these Avengers films. Will they be anything that fans will care to see? I don't know. I like Tom Holland Spider-Man. And, maybe they'll get me with some great villains. Like, it would be great to see some great villains introduced and having them look cool. I don't know. All right, now we got Miles Morales is going to be introed in the next 3 solo Spider-Man movies. So I'm talking about the next trilogy of Spider-Man movies. And he's going to be having his own Spider-Man movie produced by Sony. So we're going to get Miles Morales very soon. I've talked about this before. Miss Marvel, and who? There's another one that they've introduced so far, but Miles Morales is one of them. They are members of a newer young team of superheroes, which is a reincarnation of the team, the Champions, that has been sort of successful and could be like a successful thing for them. But I think they're going to go with Young Avengers. They're going to screw up the Young Avengers, which is a great brand as well. And if they were a little bit more patient and rolled this out the right way, this stuff all could have been great. So this is a little aggravating. I don't love the timing of all this. We are being promised Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Scarlett Johansson returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but as variant versions of themselves. They won't change anything that's happened, at least not now, in the Marvel Universe. They are just going to bring them back to make appearances alongside some of these other characters like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Also, there'll be some more than that. We've got World War Hulk is apparently a go. Marvel now has the rights to do a Hulk movie, but it's going to be a little bit more like our World War Hulks kind of thing. Red Hulk, She-Hulk, Scar, at least. And new Super Soldier program made of Hulk-type characters. So that's going to be, I don't know. Whenever they throw like too many Hulks at the wall, it gets like a little like stupid for me. They've done some good versions of the story. I don't really trust Marvel to get any of this shit right as of now, based on the people that they have working for them. But maybe. Midnight Suns is apparently up and running. Like they're working towards that, building towards that in the future. This will be sort of like doled out with Blade, which there's a lot of flux with the Blade series. Apparently Ironheart will have some aspects of Midnight Suns put into it. I don't know why. Maybe they'll try to make people interested in it. But Midnight Suns isn't that popular of a brand to make people interested. Like, Marvel doesn't realize what they've done. They have tanked their brand to the point where B-level things are not going to be able to work again until you get your A-level things working. And the A-level things, I mean, dude, I'm so fucking nervous. There's a Marvel Zombie show that will have some elements of this, I guess. A Moon Knight Season 2 that will continue with some Midnight Sun shit. A Werewolf by Night 2 or continuation that will continue some of this stuff. And other unnamed stuff. So, Ironheart, no interest. The Blade movie, Jesus, I'm so nervous about that one. Marvel Zombie show, I guess I might check that out. Moon Knight Season 2. Moon Knight Season 1 was fucking boring and not at all what I was looking for Moon Knight. Werewolf by Night was okay, but like okay, kind of like in comparison to a lot of not great things. And I don't know. This all. I wish you guys could read all the comics that I've read. Like, just all the great comics. My brother Shane has basically read like all the great comics I read because I like curated them in order and like gave them to him, and he got to read all this stuff, and he knows just the great stories that are there to be told, and how low the quality is of the material that we're getting compared to the material that has been put out at times in comics. It's so disheartening. And some of these things are okay, but like okay, we deserve better than okay. And like they are better than okay. So just ugh.
Apparently there was talk about a Ghost Rider special, but no word on what's going on in that. Apparently Nova is also still in the works, but no talk of when. They are surprisingly talking about a Miss Marvel and She-Hulk season 2. I mean, people heard it was good. I don't think anybody's really gone back to watch it. That seems like a mistake. But if they want to make this Young Avengers thing, I mean, but like, oh my God, you're gonna launch the Young Avengers out of a failed TV show on Disney Plus? I mean, like, these are bad ideas, guys. This is stupid shit. She-Hulk is gonna have to do a complete 180. I still haven't done my like takedown of She-Hulk because I want to go back and reread all the Dan Slott books so I can literally like share with you all of the fucking hysterical ideas from that book alone that could have been used. But I want to read that. I want to read the John Byrne one too, and I just want to be like, you guys suck, and this whatever. So all of this is like a multiverse saga that's going to connect these previous incarnations of the universe together. If they're smart, they'll get Nick Cage as Ghost Rider. They'll get Wesley Snipes as Blade. They'll do the whole thing. They'll do it up. It'll be awesome. And, you know, maybe we'll get some of the other incarnations, the Fantastic Four for a minute, all that stuff. That could be cool. You know, that aspect of what they're doing could be all of the great things about Spider-Man No Way Home. And honestly, if they really take Spider-Man No Way Home's success to heart and just gave us a whole bunch of movies that were variations of that with some of the existing characters that have already been done well or well enough in these other universes, you're onto something. You know, that's the greatest thing that I can see about like what you can do right now. Aquaman, the admitted end to the failure that was the DC Cinematic Universe, just defeated the Marvels, the continuing saga of what's supposed to be the invincible Marvel Universe. This does not bode well for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And honestly, it doesn't bode well for the DC Cinematic Universe either, because going forward is a little bit of a lurch. And this Superman movie better be all that in a bag of chips, or James Gunn and Dave Zaslav are fucked. Anyway, I'm Jesse Blaze Snyder, your enthusiastic participator in life and geek culture, your passionate commentator upon the subject, Jesse Blaze Snyder. I love you, coolest geeks. I appreciate you listening to my show. Appreciate you getting this far. You can write to me again at jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com. I'm also on the Twitters. I am Jesse Blaze. I'm Coolest Geek JBS. I love you all so much. I look forward to hearing from you. I've got a great book called Fucking for Our Future on fundmycomic.com right now. You can actually find it very easily by going to fundmycomic.com/fucking. I got away with that, even though I got censored on the website. The book is hysterical. I've talked a little bit about it before, but go check it out. There's a great 13-page preview of the book. Go get one of those special covers or whatever it is. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for helping me to continue to have this podcast grow, and I really just... I'm so grateful to have this platform to talk about the things I love in the passionate way that I do, and to so consistently hear back from my audience that you share my passion and that you're so happy to hear me evoking the emotions that are often held deep within you. So here's to more tears and more cheers and more yelling and screaming and laughing and complaining with the Coolest Geek Alive podcast. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you next Wednesday or this coming Saturday for another ass-kicking episode of the Coolest Geek Alive. Love you. Peace. You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part. Isn't that heavy? I'll play that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after week. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And crying sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. I'm a genius. I got lyrics coming out me bum for days. You like that? It's a kazoo solo. I played that too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living your shit. My voice is fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right or text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top. Fucking awesome. Passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go.
It's going to be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground. Hooray!